What about Trump was, if Jeb Bush had won, I don't think we would have had this. So what about Trump was, the catalyst for such a widespread mental breakdown? Was it that he was vulgar and crass?
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Was it that so many people had told themselves he wasn't going to win? Was it that he defeated potentially the first woman president? What about him specifically sent people down that rabbit hole?
Trump was such a radical deviation from what we've come to expect from the face of American power. There's almost nothing that it did that is radical from the perspective of the American political tradition. There was very little convergence between the things he was saying and tweeting that made people so upset and the things that the United States government was actually doing. What American presidents really are expected to do more than anything is to be a deceitful, prettifying symbol on the horrors of American power, American capitalism, and American imperialism. They're supposed to be these like erudite, lofty, noble figures to put a pretty face on what the United States is. Because the whole point of the US government in the post-World War II order is to function outside of the constraints of democratic accountability. They've insulated themselves from elections. It doesn't matter who wins. There's no way to change who they are unless you devote yourself in a kind of very devoted warlike fashion to undermining them, which is way beyond Trump's competence or desire. He, had the attention span of a gnat. He was, interested in using the office just to vindicate petty personal grievances, not to radically transform the country, which had its value. And Trump not only was incapable of doing that.
He's a thrice married gambling tycoon. I mean, this is not the person you'd want representing your team.
Not only did he have no ability to do it, but he also had no desire to do it. I think one of the most telling moments was early on. He did an interview with Bill O'Reilly on Fox, and Bill O'Reilly said,
"Do you respect Putin?"
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. Will I get along with him? I have no idea. It's very
He's a
possible
killer,
I
though.
won't.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? You think our country's so innocent?
I don't know of any government leaders that are killers in America.
Well, take a look at what we've done too. We've made a lot of mistakes, but a lot of people were killed. So a lot of killers around, believe me.
It is usual the thing that makes everybody angriest is when you tell the forbidden truth.
Right.
Everybody knows that that's true.
Right.
But the American president is the last person who's supposed to say that, right? They're supposed to uphold images of American exceptionalism. So I think it was just the upset that he just kind of defecated on the White House. He vandalized the noble corridors of power that stand for American exceptionalism. And I think that more than anything is what got them so upset, along with the uncertainty that, it kind of fucked with everybody's expectations. The New York Times is saying there was a 97% chance that Hillary Clinton was going to be elected. She's a, inside member of the royal court and has been for decades. There was the historical aspect of the first woman president, all those other things you said that also caused it. But he was just such an unpredictable tornado, sweeping through Washington, where their power and their certainty and their money and their livelihoods are all based, that it was just like an earthquake that never stopped. Why didn't they upset them?
Why didn't they kill him?